An old man sitting by the crossroads was a bit shocked to see two horses appear from nowhere, and watched in amazement as their riders hurtled through the air and landed in the lake opposite him with an almighty splash, sending plumes of water at least 10 feet above the surface of the lake. The old man watched in amazement, but was totally distressed by his inability to help the struggling riders, who were in full armour. This was hampering their ability to stay afloat. The old man was crippled. Just as he was wondering how he could help, a large party of riders turned up. "If you know those two, I would do something. They are going down for the second time," the old man said. In no time at all, the riders had roped Hawk and Wolf and dragged them from what would have been a watery grave. The two of them laid on the bank, huffing and puffing and gasping for air in between coughing up water. Fox looked at his siblings. "Well, Hawk, you broke your own rules. You should have held on to me." Hawk didn't respond to Fox's taunts. She just threw him a dirty look. The old man looked at Hawk and Wolf. "I am so sorry I didn't help you, but as you see from my demeanour, I am in no position to help. Even if I had a rope, I would never have the strength to pull you out. And you, young man, must be Fox of Castlewood. I hear you have been on a rampage over the last couple of months. I also hear your rebels dispatched 32 of the Black Hand family's best warriors. But having said that, I thought you were a much smaller force. You seem to have well over 100 fighters in your party. Excuse my manners, I am Mr. G.P.J. Pageworth. Yes, I have a big force because I intend to retake the mine. My sources tell me they only have 50 men in there," said Fox. "Then, my boy, your sources are wrong. They have 100 men in the mining complex. They heard you had survived the battle for Rosno, so they beefed up their security. They didn't need even 20 men to hold that place. You see, the gates act as a funnel. Even a force as big as yours would find itself at their mercy. The first set of gates lead to a corridor that's surrounded by stakes 20 foot high. Once you have entered the front gates, you have to move forward to the second gates. Then, before you know what's happening, the first set of gates close behind you. Now you are trapped like rats in a trap, and they can just stand on the ramparts and fire down. So the full frontal attack is futile. You would be massacred," said Mr. Pageworth. "So are you saying we can't take the mine complex back?" said Fox with a disappointed look on his face. "I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that you cannot take the mine with brute force. You have to be sly like your namesake. But I know a way in with minimal losses to your force. Send a small party to the main gates, say 20 riders, to keep the Black Hand family at the front gates. Meanwhile, send the rest of your men in through the main air vents in the tunnels. You can attack them from the rear and both flanks at the same time. Your men will swarm out of the tunnels and overwhelm them before they know what's happening," said Mr. Pageworth. "Hang on, Fox, how do we know he's not a member of the Black Hand family planted here to feed us false information?" whispered Ibex in his ear. Fox stood in front of the old man and found himself filled with curiosity as he surveyed the man's features. He looked like he was in his 50s. He had a scar starting at his forehead running down over his left eye, slicing the top and bottom lip and finishing on his chin. You could clearly see his teeth had been smashed out and were not rotten. Moving down his body, his chest had scars all over it, and finally his right leg was missing. Just then, Ibex poked Fox in the ribs. "Ask him to show you his left arm." "Oh yes, good point. Sorry, I was off in a dream world," Fox said.